In some breaking news is coming in, there are reports of fresh firing from inside the BSF camp that came under attack early this morning. Intense gunfire, in fact, has been reported. Smoke can be seen billowing out from the buildings. The force is suspecting that there could be one more terrorist inside. So that's the latest, that there are reports of a fresh round of gunfire coming in on the terror attack, on the Fidain attack on the BSF camp near Srinagar Airport. In fact, what we hear is that one terrorist could possibly be still holed up inside. Shuja ul Haq is with us. Shuja, just tell us what exactly has happened. Just give us the latest update right now.
Well, Avantika, as you can probably tell in the background, there is gunfight still going on. For a brief moment, there was a lull in the gunfight, but it is picked up again. We are given to understand that there is still a military and the security forces are trying to flush that militant out. There are commandos of Army, the BSF and other paramilitary forces who are on the job here. We're not directly, giving the operational details or showing the exact spot where this encounter is taking place. We are standing very near to the spot, but we're consciously not given the exact, location. But I can tell you that this entire area is very, very tense. There are troops all over the place. There is army which has surrounded this area. Commandos who have gone inside. Loud explosions can be heard from one of the buildings. And Avantika, we've been maintaining this. It's a very, very high-profile attack because of the location that these militants have chosen. By attacking this BSF camp, they have also shown the vulnerability of other installations around. Just next to this BSF camp is the airport of Srinagar. There is the Air Force base also situated on one side of this BSF camp. Just down the line, there are other installations as well. So overall, it's a very difficult operation which has been going on here since 4:30 in the morning. We were given to believe that close to 3 militants had managed to attack this building, rather this camp. They managed to enter in. One militant was killed right in the beginning. But even as we speak, it's many hours now and the gunfight is still raging on. Already we are getting reports of one assistant sub-inspector of BSF.
No, and I can just make out the situation is very tense. It's a massive operation. The very sensitive area, the highly fortified BSF camp coming under attack is also something to worry about, isn't it, Shuja? When the security around the airport is extremely tight, this very secure BSF camp coming under attack also raises a couple of questions.
Well, yes, you can still see that that the entire atmosphere is extremely tense. New troops have moved in. Like I was, we're not giving any operational details, so to speak, but the intense gunfight are still very much on here, Avantika. Very tense atmosphere. Troops moving from all directions, and constant explosions is what we can hear coming in from inside the location of this camp. You probably can hear these explosions in the background. I'm repeating again, we're not giving any operational details. We're not showing the exact spot or the building where this entire attack has taken place. We'll show those visuals in a deferred mode from some time from now. But right now, no operational details have been given out from this broadcast. However, I can tell you that the atmosphere here is very tense. There are troops who are constantly hovering around this place and are engaging these militants or a militant who is still, inside the building.
Okay, all right. Shuja, we'll just fix that audio there, but the gunfight still very much on, and the sound of loud explosions that can be heard in the background because the operation is very much on. 3 Fidain attackers or suicide attackers had stormed the highly secured and fortified BSF That's the border security force installation next to the Srinagar Airport. One militant, as Shuja was telling us, has been gunned down and a few other BSF Jawan have sustained serious injuries. This is a major terror attack that has taken place in Srinagar at pre-dawn when the terrorists attacked the BSF camp. And we have, in fact, this report that has been sent in by Shuja ul Haq and Ashraf Wani, this ground report that they've just sent us. Let's take a look at that.
We are right now in Humhama, right in front of the BSF camp, and you can see that there is intense gunfire that is being seen from this camp. That is the building where these militants have taken refuge. There are already reports of militants being killed, but clearly there are some more militants who are inside. The security forces constantly trying to flush them out. There are commandos of the army, the BSF and other paramilitary forces who are here on this job. Very, very tense situation here. We can see a lot of reinforcement has been brought in. Intense gun battle going on even as we speak. With cameraman Shuja ul Haq in Srinagar for India Today. We are right now barely meters away from this spot where the attack has taken place. Right on that side, if you can see, that is the place where even as we speak, the operation is still going on. You can hear the sounds of gunshots and explosions taking place. A lot of security forces have been put in place all across. The BSF is carrying out this operation predominantly, but there are other security wings like that of the army and the police who are also assisting them in this encounter. Shuja ul Haq in Srinagar for India Today.
Okay, a couple of political reactions also coming in on this big attack that has taken place at a BSF camp when 3 to 4 suicide attackers stormed the BSF camp early in the morning today. Let's listen in.
Both the terrorists, they have been cordoned properly. Our commandos, they have reached the place where these terrorists, they are there. Operation is going on. I will pat our security forces, our JKP, our administration, that soon the traffic, air traffic, which had been stopped, that has been resumed. This is our information. So this is the situation. And we are sure that soon this operation shall be over. And the remaining terrorists, they shall be shown their fate.
यह हमारे लिए चैलेंज बन गया है और कैंपों को अधिक सुरक्षितता होनी चाहिए. कैंप हमेशा सजग होना चाहिए. अभी तक जो जानकारी है कि वहाँ पर जो भी हमला हुआ है, जो घुसे हैं वहाँ पर, उनमें से 2 को तो ढेर कर दिया गया है. उन्हें आज यहाँ कैंप में घुसने का साहस जो किया है, इसका उन्हें बहुत बड़ा भुगतान करना पड़ेगा. आतंकी और आतंक की समाप्ति का समय आ चुका है. कोई आतंकी और आतंकवाद श्रीनगर में जिंदा नहीं रहेगा, ये हमारा प्रयास है.
सुरक्षा बलों की सूझबूझ और उनकी तुरंत कार्रवाई का नतीजा है. जिस प्रकार का नुकसान करने का एक मंसूबा अथवा योजना बनाई गई थी, वो विफल कर दी गई और साथ ही साथ किसी प्रकार का सिविलियन नुकसान भी ना हो, ये भी सुनिश्चित किया गया.
So the operation is very much on. Suicide attackers carried this massive amount of explosives. They were heavily armed when they stormed into the heavily fortified border security force camp just near the Srinagar Airport early in the morning. This happened before dawn when the attack took place. 3 terrorists we hear had entered the BSF camp. 1 militant, in fact, has been gunned down. The army is also involved in the flushing out operation. 1 militant is still believed to be hiding inside the BSF camp. This after these terrorists, believed to be dressed in military fatigues, breached 4 layers of the security at the BSF's 182 battalion at about 3:45 early in the morning when it was still dark. So the attack took place pre-dawn. Shuja ul Haq remains with us. Shuja, we saw this happening at the time of the Uri terror strike as well, when terrorists were dressed in army fatigues and when they cut through the fence to reach the camp. That also took place early in the morning, and a similar strategy, it seems, has been adopted in this terror attack as well.
Well, Avantika, in most of these attacks, the kind of attack that has happened here, modus operandi is almost the same. they choose almost a similar timing for carrying out, mounting this attack, because that is perhaps the time when the guard is at its weakest. There are attacks that have taken place earlier, exactly at this time, 4:35, pre-dawn, specifically chosen targets, studied first, read first, and mounted that attack. It's that they have followed the same script in this case as, and the motive seems to be very, very clear, causing as much damage as possible. The moment they mounted the attack, the initial bout of firing was very intense. They lobbed several hand grenades and indiscriminately fired at the guards, making their way through inside the camp.
So,
and it's exactly
Shuja, if I may just ask you here, in totality, how many terrorists stormed the BSF camp? We hear that there were 4 militants, 3 have been gunned down, 1 BSF Jawan has been martyred. Is that correct?
Well, that's right. There were information of 3 militants being killed, but firing has again, which that they still suspect that there could be more militants inside. I can tell you that there are loud explosions that we are hearing even as we speak in the background while this entire encounter is on. One assistant sub-inspector of the BSF has also lost his life. His body was found from one of the rooms of the barracks. The sanitization was being carried out in those barracks. There are few Jawans also who have sustained injuries. They have been shifted to the hospitals as well. But overall, in this entire area, I can tell you, standing, barely a couple of 100 meters away from the exact spot. We're not giving any operational details, but we are, we can sense the tension on the ground here. There are troops all over the place. The army, the other paramilitary forces have sent their commandos to aid the BSF in carrying out this entire encounter.
Just stay on with me, Shuja. We also have a couple of reactions and some breaking news. We have the Home Minister, Rajnath Singh, speaking to India today. He said, and I quote, that he's already spoken to DG BSF KK Sharma this morning regarding the attack on the BSF camp. The Home Minister telling India today that he has been informed about the encounter, which is very much on, as Shuja had just told us. 1 terrorist is alive, but will be neutralized as well. Kamaljeet Sandhu joins us with the very latest on this. Kamaljeet, just tell us a little bit more. What are you hearing from the Home Ministry?
Well, we just spoke to Home Minister Rajnath Singh, who's just told us that yes, the encounter is very much on. He's saying that the terror attack is in the final stages, that the terrorist who's been firing will be neutralized soon. He said he's been briefed about this encounter at around 6:30, that he's been regularly in touch. He's keeping an eye on the situation. So yes, the Home Ministry very much abreast of the situation, which is currently unfolding at the BSF camp near Humhama. This is obviously very close to the international Srinagar Airport. Yes, there has been regular intelligence reports coming in about a possible Fidayeen attack, the one which has taken place at the BSF camp also, and we've seen in the past few days there has been a spurt of terror attacks, whether it is about targeted killing of the cops or security personnel, or that is about infiltration bid or Uri-like terror attack. What Rajnath Singh said was that there is going to be a huge attention, and remember, there will be a security review meeting which could be soon. BSF DG is expected in North Block. He will be separately briefing. The Home Minister Rajiv Gauba also spoke to India today. He said that he has been speaking and in regular touch with DG BSF. And remember, at this point of time, it is the BSF and IG BSF Sonali who's taken the lead in the operation. 53RR, the CRPF Quick Reaction Team, as well as the SOG participating. We believe there are 3 Jaish-e-Mohammed terrorists, and obviously they are the ones who launched a Fidayeen attack, and that has been fended off. One personnel has lost his life, while the operation has been counted as a very successful in containing the terrorists. And remember, even as the operations are on, the Srinagar Airport has resumed activity, and that's what speaks about this particular operation itself. Security forces telling us that the operation is likely to be soon over.
Absolutely. But, Kamaljeet, several questions are also being raised about just how did these 3 Fidayeen attackers successfully storm into the very secure and highly fortified border security force camp. This is just near the Srinagar Airport. It's an extremely secured area. And, you know, this attack on the BSF camp also draws similarities to the Uri attack when the Fidains there had also come dressed in army fatigues and just didn't look, in fact, like suicide attackers.
Avantika, absolutely. The Jaish-e-Mohammed attack which took place in District Police Line, Pulwama, is the one which has some sort of similarity. But again, in terms of the terrain, and remember, this is going to be about room intervention. It is about how the terrorists finally managed to hold themselves up in a room. The only difference between Pulwama attack and this one is that there were family members who were involved there, and here it has been more or less a very clean operation. The other part is obviously about how Jaish-e-Mohammed is trying to increase its footprint. After at least 140 terrorists have been neutralized, most of them in South Kashmir, there has been a heavy attempt of infiltration bit from North Kashmir. So we really have to see how these JEM men have come in. One group was believed to have come in from Poonch sector, and remember, 3 of them were gunned down. They were from the Afzal Guru squad. This one has a similarity, and we believe this could be a hybrid module. So it could be a combination of a local militant combined with foreign terrorists. But at this point of time, because the gunfight is still very much on,
yes.
This is initial information coming in. But yes, trying to replicate Uri-style attack, targeting security force camp. And remember, there is an angle about how the NI team at one point of time was also camping here. Those security forces at this point of time outrightly deny that particular angle. It cannot be overlooked. The other part is about how there are key security installations, including the Srinagar Airport, including the Air Force Station base, which is close by. So this kind of target itself is a heavily militarized target. And obviously, the Fidains had come with one sole purpose: to cause maximum damage and inflict maximum injuries. Now that has been foiled by security forces. One personnel, though, has lost his life.
Absolutely. And while you speak, these are the live images of the encounter which is presently on. While we are not divulging more details of the operation, what we do know is that 3 terrorists have been gunned down. The gunfire is still very much on. You can hear the sounds of the loud explosions in the backdrop, and smoke there billowing outside from where the attack took place. And in fact, very massive explosions that can be heard inside, because one militant is still believed to be inside. One Fidain attacker is still believed to be inside the BSF camp. Shuja ul Haq continues to remain with us. Shuja, we're just getting these live shots of the encounter area, and we can see the smoke coming out from the BSF camp. But just tell me, can you just help our viewers to understand just where exactly is this area? How far is it from the Srinagar Airport? And what is it that you're hearing from your sources? Do the security officials believe that there is just one terrorist inside the BSF camp?
Well, Avantika, the operation is very much on. I can tell you this: we are very near to the spot, and I can hear loud explosions in the backdrop. What I can tell you is that there 2 militants have already been killed. There was report of another militant having been killed. But it seems that either that one militant is still inside, injured and fighting back, or there is another militant present inside that building. Whatever it is, there is a very intense gun battle that is one can witness on the ground. The army, the BSF commandos, the CRPF, quick reaction teams are all on the job here. As the location is concerned, that is the most important part in this entire, encounter, in this entire attack. They have chosen this location to send across a message because this is one of the highly guarded, highly secured areas of Srinagar. There are very important installations, around. Airport is just few hundred meters away from the attack, the spot where this attack has taken place, and the building where these militants have taken.
What about the airport? Since you just mentioned the airport being very near the BSF camp, has the Srinagar Airport been cordoned off? Have flights been disrupted as a result of the operation that is presently underway?
Well, yes. Since morning, there, many flights were cancelled. a lot of them were delayed. Initially, the passengers were not even allowed to go inside the airport. It was completely sealed. A drill was carried out in the entire airport premises to find out whether the airport is absolutely clean, and only after that the passengers were allowed inside. We're not really sure, even as we speak, that whether the flights have taken off from the airport. But Avantika, like I was pointing out and taking cue from the same point that I was earlier making, the airport, the Indian Air Force base is also very near to this spot. So overall, it is a very, very high-profile zone. And an attack like this taking place in a high-profile, high-secure zone like this raises a lot of questions which will have to be answered in the investigation that will follow.
Absolutely. But for now, the security forces giving a befitting reply to this latest terror attack, killing 3 of those Fedayeen attackers who stormed into the BSF camp. They were heavily armed. They were believed to be dressed in military fatigues. One militant is still believed to be held up inside. Can you just quickly tell me, Shuja, who all are right now presently involved in the operation? So we have the army and we have the BSF, and who else? Shuja?
Shuja.
Okay, we'll go back to Shuja in just a bit, but Shuja, they're closely monitoring the situation. These are the images from the BSF camp where the encounter, the operation, in fact, against the militants is presently underway. This is the BSF camp just near the Srinagar International Airports. There is still no information about the flights. Let me just also take our viewers through a report that has been sent in by Shuja al-Haq from the place where right now the operation is presently underway.
Shuja.
We are right now right in front of that particular building where this intense gunfire is going on. As you can see, we are hearing blasts. There are loud explosions that are going on. Firing is constantly going on. The forces are constantly engaging the militants inside this camp. There are already reports of a few militants being killed, but the encounter is still raging on. You can see intense gunfire being carried out here. This encounter has been on since 4:30 in the morning when these militants managed to enter into this camp. That is the building where the entire action is happening at this moment. There are commandos from the BSF, the army and other security forces who are engaging these militants in this very, very intense gun battle. Let me remind you that this is a very highly secure zone. Right next to this camp is the airport for Kashmir, and there is the Air Force station also, which is situated bang next to this building in itself. So a very, very highly sensitive place, which usually has a lot of security in place. There are multi-level securities that are laid to secure this entire area, but today it has taken the entire security mechanism by surprise. As you just heard, another blast has just taken place. The encounter, very intense encounter, raging on here in Homahama. With cameraman Roof, Shuja al-Haq in Srinagar for India Today.
In fact, we'll continue to get you all the latest updates coming in on that terror attack on the BSF camp just right next to the Srinagar Airport. But we'll have to take a short break. Coming up next, after being on the run